Hi everyone. In this whole presentation, I will be talking about how I will be implementing those in the trolley problem, medical dilemma, and for autonomous vehicle. Step 1. Introduction or describing about trolley problem. The trolley problem is an experiment in ethics that poses a moral dilemma involving a scenario with a runaway trolley and a choice that a person must make. The scenario typically presents a trolley problem that involves a moral agent who must make a difficult choice in a life or a death situation. This is where a moral question pops up. Would he pull the lever leading to one death but save 5 lives? In this case, as per research, the moral dilemma is clear. Is it ethical to sacrifice one person to save a group of people, or is it inherently wrong to take an action that will kill an innocent person? As per the article, the driver's moral duty is to take additional action to minimize his initial harm. It states that killing one is not better than letting 5 die, by killing one is indeed better than killing 5 in a such situation. Furthermore, there are two fundamental ethical theories. They are utilitarianism and deontology. Utilitarianism. This explains that the morally rightness or wrongness of a select action. According to the trolley problem, utilitarianism might argue that pulling the lever is the right choice because it saves 5 lives, which would result in net gain happiness. Deontology. Trolley problem. From deontological perspective, some argue that pulling the lever is morally wrong since it involves causing harm to an innocent person, even if it saves more lives overall. Weight of negative duties. In moral decision making, negative duties, this typically means that it requires us not to interfere with the interest or well-being of others. For example, the duty is not to kill, steal, lie, or harm someone. 3 key points are weight and non-interference. This means that it emphasizes the principles that means moral decision making, where there should not be moral obligations not to actively harm or interfere with the well-being of others. Respect for rights. This simply means being closely associated with respecting the rights of individuals. Right-based ethics. This theory explains that individuals have inherent rights that must not be violated, such as security and right to life. In the end, Philippa Foot's argument centers on the idea that negative duties, which involve refraining from causing harm, should carry more weight than positive duties. Step 2. Transfers the trolley with a current day autonomous vehicle. In this step, it is a current day autonomous vehicle facing a moral dilemma where it must choose between two potential tragic outcomes. The first option will be continue forward. If the autonomous vehicle continues forward and crashes into the barrier, it will result in deaths of 3 people in the vehicle. The second option will be swerve to the left. If the autonomous vehicle swerves to the left, it will avoid the barrier but collide with the pedestrians and a dog on the crossing road, which leads to the death or harm to the pedestrians and the dog. Analysis based on the details using critical analysis framework. Step 1. Understanding the situation. According to my understanding, the following are relevant factors. First, dilemma. The issue is the moral dilemma involving a self-driving car. The car is in a situation where it must choose between two option outcomes with ethical challenges surrounding autonomous vehicle. Second, safety of the people inside the vehicle. This means prioritizing the safety of the car passengers. This decision might involve taking actions that minimize harm to the people inside the vehicle, even though it may damage or harm outsiders. Third, pedestrians and the dog. It prioritizes the safety of pedestrians and the dog who crosses the road where there is an autonomous vehicle coming towards them. In this situation, it may involve braking in a way that minimizes harm to external parties. Identify stakeholders. Firstly, primary stakeholders. Vehicle passengers, simply individuals believes or expects the autonomous vehicle to keep them safe during their journey. Pedestrians and dogs. Innocent people and dogs who are crossing the road may be harmed if the vehicle turns to the left. Secondly, secondary stakeholders. Manufacturers and developers. Companies and engineers are responsible for designing, manufacturing, and programming autonomous vehicles. This simply means they need to ensure that the technology operates safely to protect their reputation. Legal experts, lawyers, and legal practitioners who deal with autonomous vehicle-related cases, including accidents, etc. They do play a crucial role in navigating the complexities surrounding autonomous vehicles. Shareholders and investors, individuals who are interested in companies that develop autonomous vehicle technology, they are pretty much interested in financial success and growth of these companies. Isolate the major ethical dilemma. Isolating the major ethical dilemma simply identifies the issues that vehicles programming must address. In one of the articles, it was mentioned that trust and business-related consideration may not be only the reason for the safety consideration in autonomous vehicle report. Since autonomous driving is a complex technology which is expected to have a major social impact which is unlike other ethical issues. Therefore, autonomous vehicle companies need to privatize the issue for technical solutions. The major ethical dilemma to be resolved now is whether autonomous vehicles should privatize the safety of their passengers or privatize the safety of pedestrians and the dog. Legal implication. In this step, I have provided two legal implications related to the scenario. Traffic laws. This law could be relevant in both scenarios. If the vehicle takes the other lane, it would be violating laws of reckless driving and improper lane changes. However, if it continues forward and crashes into a barrier, it may see acting according to the traffic laws. Laws regarding product responsibility. If the autonomous vehicle crashes into the barrier and harms the passengers, the product liability comes into action. The vehicle manufacturer might face legal action if the case determines that the flow and the vehicle's design or the program caused harm. The other way around, if autonomous vehicle harms the pedestrians and the dog, product liability issues might arise. Informal guidelines. The smell test. Does your instinct tell you that there is something wrong? In my point of view, I would like to say yes, since the situation raises moral concern and also smells ethically troubling and gives potential harm to the various parties that are involved. The mom test, would you tell her, would she do it? Mom would simply say yes, since the situation involves life and death. The TV test, would you tell the nationwide audience? I would say yes, since the scenario is not only ethically challenging on a personal level, but also have ethical implications that should be discussed openly. The market test. Could you advertise the activity to gain a market edge? I would say no, since it significantly involves a complex moral choice that directly and negatively impact the reputation of autonomous vehicles, which mainly rely on public trust. Other people who want you to keep quiet, operators and manufacturers may prefer to keep the situation silent because it may result in negative publicity and damage the reputation of autonomous vehicles and their technology. Formal guidelines. In this deciding the autonomous vehicle in an ethical dilemma could potentially violate principles that is related to safety and minimize harm within both company policy and industry codes of ethics. Ethical principles. Consequentialism. Who, what will be harm? Potential harm includes the vehicle occupant, pedestrians, and the dog. Who, what will benefit? The benefit would be complex as it depends on which party the action privatizes. Minimizing harm. Consequentialism aims to minimize overall harm. Egoism. This considers what is good for the individual. In autonomous vehicle condition, this would state that this might lead to privatizing the safety and well-being of vehicle occupant, passengers, or more overall. Utilitarianism. As Pan mentioned about utilitarianism, it aims to achieve the greatest good. According to the scenario, what I think is action should prioritize the safety of the pedestrians crossing the road. The idea is to minimize the harm, even though it leads to risk harm to the vehicle's occupants. Altruism. In this situation, the altruist approach is to make the decision to minimize the harm to all parties involved in the situation, such as balancing of pedestrians, dog, and vehicle occupants. Right and duties theory ontology. According to the theory, it is based on the idea that individuals have certain rights and duties that should be respected. In the end, these principles and considerations guide ethical decision making, helping to balance the rights and duties of all parties involved to minimize harm. Kant categorical imperative. It is a deontological ethical principle that emphasizes the importance of treating individuals respectively till the end. Moreover, this could divide into 2 points, such as treat all the parties with respect as in. This means individuals should be treated with value and dignity. Their lives' worth should not be reduced. The second point would be avoid treating some lives as more valuable than others. This means it is unethical to treat some people as more valuable or important than others when making ethical decisions. According to the scenario with Kant's categorical imperative, in this scenario, it focuses on the value and the dignity of all parties involved, the vehicle passengers, pedestrians, and the dog. At the end of this, Kant categorical imperative prioritizing the safety of one group over the other would be against Kantian ethics. Making a decision and planting an implementation decision according to the scenario, the complexity of the situation, and ethical decision involving minimizing harm in the greatest possible way is the best solution or decision that should be taken. Conflict resolving. In this case, the scenario is to protect lives that should take in the first place. Implementation, as in my understanding, the vehicle should be programmed to apply brakes as immediate as possible to reduce speed before any impact happens. Stakeholder impact. In this situation, both the passengers and the pedestrians will affect the decision, but the main task is to minimize the harm to all parties. Preventive measures, in my understanding, in the long term, autonomous vehicle technology and regulation should prioritize safety as the first main task and also ethical decision making algorithm. In conclusion, in my point of view, exploring the ethical dilemma, algorithms, automated decision making, moral machines, and ethical principles related to autonomous vehicle leads to complex moral challenge faced by self-driving cars in life or death situation. The trolley problem and autonomous vehicle highlights the need to make a difficult decision among the ethicists, philosophers, and the society at the end. Thank you. Hope you all enjoyed my presentation.